You can now get a 30-day trial to experience The Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now.
Hello, I'm JJ Bull, and I'm an analyst for Tifo Football. And in this video, we're going to look at how England beat Scotland in Euro96, the tournament that we must never forget. But before we go into that video, it would be amazing if you could subscribe to Tifo IRL. It's our brand new channel. It's Tifo, but in real life. We do all kinds of videos with our lovely tactics board, which I think you can see just now. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So please come and subscribe. Give us a like. That really helps. Do it just now. Do it now. And then leave a comment if you like. And that's great, yeah. But first, in fact, we're going to just look at the video and go into how England beat Scotland at Euro96. This is how the teams looked for the game that England beat Scotland 2-0. So it was a big deal, Euro96. A lot of current media types that came of age. A lot of people you'll see on the TV and talking about football played in this game. In fact, if we look at some of the players who lined up for it. So England played the first game of the tournament against Switzerland in a 4-4-1-1 and changed for this game. The manager was Terry Venables, changed to a 3-5-2 kind of shape. There's a few people you'll definitely recognise. I mean, some of you will know all of these, but Tony Adams, obviously very famous. Stuart Pearce, Gary Neville, that guy off of the Sky Sports analysis. Paul Ince, you'll see him on the TV. This guy, you might have heard of him recently, Gareth Southgate. He's a bit relevant today. Steve McManaman, he's the one on BT Sport. Paul Gascoigne, Alan Shearer, one of my favourite players ever. Darren Anderton, and Teddy Sheringham, who was just fantastic. But this is the thing, Scotland had a good team too. This was not a one-sided affair at all. Probably a little closer than the two teams are just now. You had players like Colin Hendry, who had just won the Premier League with Blackburn. Andy Gorham, phenomenal goalkeeper at Rangers. You had Gordon Durie, very talented forward. Gary McAllister, a Premier League player, played for Leeds, Liverpool. It's a very highly talented player. John Collins, excellent midfielder. Stuart McCall. Good team, good team. But yeah, the way they lined up, Scotland largely kind of blocked them out and nothing happened in the first half. So, a few things we can look at in England and how they played in this first half. Lined up in a 3-5-2. Sheringham was meant to play off of Shearer, kind of close to him. Southgate, normally a central defender, played in central midfield alongside Ince. But they all got quite deep, and Gascoigne kept having to drop deep to get the ball. And it meant Scotland were able to, this midfield three of Scotland, McCall, McAllister and Collins, largely had them kept quiet. Gascoigne had a poor game in the first half. Couldn't complete his passes, kept getting taken off the ball, just wasn't playing very well. Steve McManaman and Darren Anderton kept swapping wings. So whenever you see like average positions from the game, you'll notice that these guys look quite centralised, but it's because they kept swapping all the time. But yeah, nothing really happened in the first half whatsoever. Quite an even game. Neither team really had any chances. And then something happened during half time that changed the entire outcome of the game. In the second half, Venables made a key tactical decision, which was to remove Stuart Pearce. Kind of interesting that Pearce is a left back and Gary Neville is really a right back, either side of one central defender. So Pearce went off and on came handsome man from the TV, Jamie Redknapp, an excellent passer of the ball, a really good distribution. So he came into central midfield. Gareth Southgate went to left centre back. Ince then protected the midfield. Redknapp gave them distribution. He was able to ping balls out wide to find players like McManaman on the right or to pick out Gascoigne when he made runs. And Gascoigne was suddenly able to get further forward. We had Ince and Redknapp kind of here, better ball progression from Redknapp. Gascoigne suddenly found himself able to make the kind of runs that allows him to do the things that Paul Gascoigne does. He was a great player. Now, other than Gascoigne getting on the ball more, what you had was McManaman especially, who ended up having more passes, making more passes than any other player on the pitch. He would just drive with the ball and make things happen. So he started driving rather than passing and trying to work the way up through the lines. McManaman just started driving with it and running at players. And he kind of set the tempo in the second half by taking the ball roundabout from this position here, just attacking this area, taking a shot on his left foot that fizzled, whichever word you'd like to use, past the post. But that was a sign of things to come, and Redknapp was really important to a lot of it. The first goal that England scored started with Jamie Redknapp. We know Anderton and McManaman were wide. Redknapp in central midfield, able to distribute the ball and take England up the pitch better than he had done in the first half. Because Southgate, for all his defensive talents, not the best ball player. Redknapp, just a simple pass out to McManaman, but the vision's what you need to see it. McManaman drives in to here. Then Gary Neville. Now, you know overlapping centre-backs and how they were invented in 2018 by Sheffield United? Gary Neville was doing this back in Euro 96. Overlapping run by Neville, who was a right-back, remember, so it makes perfect sense. McManaman feeds him in, and then you've got Alan Shearer able to get himself between two defenders at the back post to score the opener. Really kind of basic, no huge Pep Guardiola-style tactical change from Venables. It's just that Redknapp is there to provide a distribution and better move the ball around, so England have better control of midfield. Now, the next thing that happened was Paul Gascoigne's goal, which again feeds into both of it, and we should look at that. Paul Gascoigne's wonder goal against Scotland. This is kind of how it happened. Gordon Jury won a penalty. Tony Adams slid in, took him out. Jury goes down, clear penalty. Gary McAllister steps up, hits it down the middle. Seaman saves it. It's a quite good save, not the best penalty. It doesn't really matter. It's done now. So what happens then is there's a goal kick. David Seaman kicks it long. Now, remember that Gascoigne's not been able to find space all game long. So he's not really been able to get into the game. He's been kept really, really quiet. So what happens, this ball goes long to Teddy Sheringham, who drops to receive in this midfield area here. Now, that drags Colin Calderwood out, and this is something you'll actually probably see in Euro 2020 with Scotland against England, is that the centre-backs will follow runners. So, I don't know how relevant this will actually be, but it's kind of an interesting thing that Scotland play a 3-5-2 here, and they do now, and England may well go to a 3-5-2 when they play them in 2020. Kind of going on a bit about stuff that doesn't really matter, but interesting to me, because I'm a nerd. Calderwood comes in and follows Sheringham in here. Now, this is the good bit. This leaves an enormous amount of space in here for Gascoigne to attack. Calderwood's been taken out of the game. Gascoigne will run here. As Gascoigne makes this run, Sheringham passes out to Darren Anderton, who's on the left still. Anderton just hits a lofted kind of volleyed pass. It's a one-touch volley over the top. It lands with Gascoigne, who gets into this situation here. Naturally, because of the way the defence looks, Colin Hendry has to come across, which then gives Gascoigne the opportunity to play that beautiful little chip over him. And he scores that goal. Quite good. But yeah. But all of this, believe it or not, it's just from Redknapp getting into the game, able to distribute the ball around, get better control of the midfield. And then that one little mistake from Calderwood. Is it a mistake? Following Sheringham out. Had he won the ball, it would have been fine. Anderton's clever ball over top for Gascoigne lets him in to score it. Had McAllister scored the penalty, it could have been 1-1. Had England not let in one goal against Holland, then Scotland would have been through to the next round. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, it's all done. But yeah, it was a cool time, Euro 96, and we're not allowed to ever forget it because it doesn't go away. It was very fun. And that's largely how England beat Scotland in Euro 96.
The Athletic is where the Manchester United reporters revealed the truth behind the club's Jadon Sancho transfer fiasco, where the Tottenham reporters brought you news of Gareth Bale's return before anyone else, where the Chelsea reporters told us 3 days before his sacking that Frank Lampard was on the verge of losing his job. And you can try it now for free for 30 days. See the link in the description.